Morning, everyone. Can I hear from the back, please? Which meant the front rows. Who are the ones who are late today? Because of them, we had to start the event a bit later. I know some of the folks, and apparently they turn out to be the partners, and we may have to renegotiate the commercials with you. Okay, first thing first. When you start something with adversity, the results are often good. Last 3 days, or rather 4, starting Tuesday, I think there was this paranoid feeling which was built up because of the rains, because of that torrential kind of downpour, the event may not happen. Let me call out, the ones who called up were not the participant, but were the speakers. And somewhere, I was trying to kind of ruminate what really happened. And then suddenly I realized maybe some of them are not well prepared for a theme like this. I'll tell you, it's not easy. Last year, almost at the same time when we did our first edition of Gen AI MAX, there was a euphoria, there was a buoyancy, there was absolutely a very, very exhilarating feeling. It's fizzled out. Gen AI, despite being the most profound revolution ever, is perhaps facing the fault lines. And we'll talk about that. More important, the reality check has started coming in. ROI, impact, show me the money, getting a bang for the buck. All these questions perhaps are being asked today. Guys, run the clock. Just because I'm a patron of 3i doesn't mean you don't run the clock backwards. So here is the challenge. Last year, we followed a very quintessential playbook of Gen AI that for the organizations, GCC, ventures, firms who would like to deploy Gen AI, let's follow a playbook. Accordingly, the sessions were stitched. Gen AI strategy, Gen AI architecture, the piece around execution, deployment, and even talking about some of the use cases. The journey in the last 1 year has moved dramatically. If you saw in the initial showreel what we had, while 88% of the organizations are trying to think or ruminate about Gen AI, only 7% have a Gen AI strategy. 7%. And this beast, as I call it, when unleashed, can also play havoc. We've heard about hallucinations, we've heard about ethics regulations, and if I'm not mistaken, today, many of the geographies and countries are also having issues about saying, look, do we have an AI policy for the country or not? Which means the first understanding and the realization, and what I call in our own words, epiphany. Gen AI alone is not enough. And I can tell you, when we were designing the event and when we took the feedback from the leaders, putting an underpinning tagging in an event which is Gen AI focused and calling it Gen AI alone is not enough requires some gumption. And which is where we came out that, look, data engineering, cloud infrastructure, and exponential technologies in unison will decide how Gen AI impact will flow. Now, let me give, as Fatima really helped us setting up the context, there are some realization out here. First, getting the right set of speakers. 75 plus speakers, 74 to be precise, all curated, picked, and attached to a theme. That's one. Now, amongst the 700 delegates, there are 322 leaders. So for the ones who would really like to interface, network, we have a thought leader circle. So many of the leaders are part of that. We have upper crest. So you will find many of the leaders from analytics AI fraternity out here. 40 sessions, almost 38 to be precise. Now, these sessions essentially are carrying the entire crux of 4 elements, which is Gen AI, data engineering, cloud, and exponentially put together, split into 2 zones. Transformation, which is where you are sitting as of now. Innovation, which starts after the first tea break. Now, as many of you who have attended our previous events, first of all, let me put a disclaimer. 3i is not an event company. We do events because this is the only, I would say, credible medium to demonstrate thought leadership. And the ensuing impact is that we got to curate it, which means the sessions formats are very, very, I would say, unique. Spotlight talks. Solo leader coming on stage, and we'll have an opening note by a lady and a women leader coming on stage talking for 8 to 10 minutes. Their narrative, their thought leadership. Unplugged debate, no moderator. Everything happens impromptu. Trilogue, thematic panel discussion, or maybe duologues, or maybe as novel as what we are saying, anthology session. Now, how many of you, off the cuff I'm asking, have actually seen on the OTT modern love stories? When it comes to love, hands don't go up. I know Bangalore is notorious for something else, but for the ones who have seen, let me tell you, anthology sessions are one single theme stitched by different narratives. So we have a session where leaders are talking about Gen AI use cases and applications in different domains and different business functions. 4 to 5 minutes each, they walk in, talk about that, and move out. And that's stitched with a common theme called Gen AI use cases and adoption. So the fact over there is that if you really look at how this is stitched, you will find the comprehensive coverage of Gen AI put together what you're looking from the events. And not to take out, the coverage areas are very, very expansive, very, very comprehensive. And the reason is simple, as you could understand. One, we have a representation from enterprises, Indian, global. We have a lot of global capability centers, GCCs. We have digital natives, hyperscalers, startups, tech, BPM, consulting, and pure play analytics firms as well. So when you are having those different industry segments, you got to cater to that set of the target audience as well. And that's exactly, if you see, has been covered out here. Speakers, thank you so much, everyone out here who's turned up, because it takes a lot in terms of really listening to us and saying, look, we'll prepare for these sessions. Moderators, absolutely a sense of gratitude, because each one of the moderators took an onus responsibility of really tying up the agenda, tying up the whole discussion points, and coming out with those very key takeaways and narratives, which is good for the audience. Now, for the audience, I always keep on saying, perhaps maybe this is the realization of Gen AI. We're all on the level playing field today. There are no experts. There are no practitioners in the room, despite leaders having 30 plus years of experience out here, or the folks who have just started, I would say entry level. We're all at the same level, thanks to Gen AI. And the reason is simple. Perhaps the ones who have really started on the professional journey, because of the democratization of AI, they may be the maximum consumer of AI. And trust me, if you look at their mobiles, their apps will really kind of put us to shame because everything is AI embedded over there. The other piece over there, which I keep on saying, sponsors. The names out, nothing happens without the financial, commercials, patronage of the partners. Fortunately, a lot of them backed us up when we went to them and pitched for these events. I know the ones who also did not support us saying, look, you're taking a very provocative theme and maybe the event per se does not resonate us with that provocation. And I had one word to say to them, good luck. Because Gen AI itself is a provocation for the masses. And that's exactly what the speakers here will talk about. Each one of them actually have been requested to be unfiltered, uninitiated, absolutely in your face and provocative as well. And not to take out, we have our 4th edition of Zenith Awards, 4,000 plus nominations, 6 categories, and 60 odd winners what we have towards the, I would say, day end. Please stay put. And there are some really good, I would say, set of nominations which came in, and happy to kind of see them coming on the stage. One more aspect which I want to touch upon before we invite our keynote speaker. This is a start, I think, for the ones who belong to data analytics AI community. Over the 5 years of our inception of 3AI, we've always believed that, look, there are 2 ways to operate in this ecosystem. One, create your niche, be differentiated, and ensure that everything what you do has a path-breaking mold attached, and democratize it, or the second attempted, follow the masses. We are following the former. Everything which is being shown, displayed, demonstrated out here is actually coming from the aggregated knowledge of the sum total of 1,200 plus thought leaders what we have across from 975 organizations. So that gives us the power of collective wisdom. Thank you so much, and look forward to having a great interaction. Thank you so much.